Hello, everybody. Welcome to Kayla Cuts Deep on Death Curse. And I am Kayla, as you all know. And if you didn't know, now you know. For tonight's guest, I have Edwin Acevedo on, the writer and the creator of The Ace, which is phenomenal. If you have not backed this book, you have about 12 days left to get this copy of this book while it's in demand before it goes out. And we're going to talk about this book and a lot more. So I'm going to bring in Edwin because I'm excited. So I just want to get right to it tonight. All right. So let's talk about the Ace. How
All
did
right,
you
let's
come up
do
with
it.
your concept for this character? I mean, I'm so excited because I loved this book. It is a phenomenally written book. Um,
No, it's
there's so
really
much.
nice to hear. After I've been working on this thing for so long. Like it feels like a lifetime ago when I first started the initial idea. So now that finally people are getting the book and giving, for so long it was just an idea, and now it's finally real.
I love because like one thing I love about this book is that this has an origin story to it. And I love a character with a great origin story. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone that has not read it. So let's talk about some of your creative processes. Like, where did your idea for the Ace come from?
Uh, the Ace was really a bunch of different things kind of coming together perfectly. When I first discovered Comicsgate and like the indie movement, I was just a supporter. I'm a lifelong comic book fan. I grew up on comic books from, Spider-Man, X-Men, and so on. And, when I discovered this new movement, I kind of had gotten fed up of the big two. I found that excitement that I used to have back in the day for comics. So I was just supporting everything out. Wasn't really thinking about writing or doing anything. And then, like one thing kind of fell in place after the other. And originally, I got this avatar made. When I was first on Twitter, unlike most people, I've always actually had my real name and my actual face on my Twitter profile.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, so and for the longest time, like people, when Twitter was first going up for Comicsgate, that's how people actually knew me. They knew my name and my face. So I wanted to just change it up. I got tired of kind of like seeing my face on my avatar all the time. So I'm like, all right, let's get an avatar. And I found this artist Sweens, who does the book Oddity.
Oh,
And me
okay.
and him, yeah, me and him gotten friendly. So I just kind of hit him up for like an avatar. We kind of pitched some ideas about kind of what I wanted it to be. And honestly, it was just supposed to be something quick, like some a cute little kind of armored avatar thing. It wasn't supposed to be anything that serious. And he sent me this incredible design for what would be the Ace. Now slightly different, but basically all the pieces were there. And it just blew me away. Like I was like, wow, I was expecting him to just draw up something quick. And then he drew this awesome character. So I started using the avatar. And some of the guys started calling me the Ace. Because they see me so much, like, oh, it's Ace. And I'd be in the chats and stuff, and they see the avatar. So everybody, so that like one thing after another just kind of kept coming together. And after a while, I got the creative juices to really thinking like, this is something more. Like I think this could be like a character. Like this shouldn't just be like a little avatar. Like, because he sent me a bunch of like pre-designs and stuff. So, I got to see like, the like almost like the full armor together. It wasn't just like the head and everything.
Yeah.
And that just kind of triggered that kind of like, that creativity that I hadn't had in a long time. Because I grew up wanting to be a writer and artist for comics. Like that was my dream, and I was in high school. But I never really had the artistic talent to really for it to really go anywhere. So like once I graduated high school and all that, like I love comics, but the idea of actually creating anything seems so like far fetched, especially since things really kind of changed. Like the way people used to get hired, they actually used to go to conventions and submit portfolios, and you could get hired on the spot. That whole thing changed. Like, the gatekeepers started showing up, and people weren't being hired on merit or great ideas or great pitches. You had to know someone to get in. It started to become a clique. So, like I said, as I grew up, the idea of actually creating something wasn't really viable until Comicsgate came around, and that was really the spark. I started pitching some ideas to my friend Passion for Drawing, and it just kind of grew from there.
I find it so interesting that you're basically like this character was all based off of you having an avatar made. I think that's awesome. I never would have thought that was the case at all.
Yeah, it's a pretty trippy idea, but like I said, it just seemed like one thing after another would kind of fall into place as I would kind of start. I would find people to help me and be able to find artists, and everything just started to flow. And it just seemed like when one door closed, another would open. Like originally, I had another artist that was going to draw the book, and he had to step out because of family obligations. So out of nowhere, me and Canales were friendly. Like I've gotten he'd done like a fan art of the Ace before.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I really loved his take on it. It's actually the avatar I'm using now. That's the original thing he did before he was ever hired. And I was like, you know what? I wonder if Canales would even be available to do this. So I just hit him up. And like I said, we were friendly. So he responded to me real quickly. He's like, I'm kind of busy, but like if you give me a couple of months, I can fit you in to do this book. And I was like, perfect. And then stuff like that would just keep happening. So it's almost like it was meant to be in a weird way, because every time something happened, not only would I get Canales, and there's no disrespect to the other artists, but who he's great, he's very talented, but Canales really fit the story more than he did. So it's almost seemed like everything just started to work in my favor, just almost by accident, which is really weird.
Sometimes that's how things are. It falls into place so perfectly and it works out wonderfully. I mean, in your case, everything worked out great. I mean, you hit all of your, what was it? Your extra perks there. Like I'm trying to
all
think
the
of what it's
stretch
called.
goals.
All the stretch goals. Thank you. My brain is not working tonight. All the stretch goals I'm So, I mean, and I'll show everybody in a little bit when we get to your campaign, but I'm really interested. So I'm interested in this, your writing process now, right? So do you think that having a background reading comic books made you a stronger writer? Because the writing in this book is very strong. So,
Yes, yes and no. Yeah, I think obviously, I think, the creativity, the stuff that I'm able to pull from, because I've been reading comics for, decades now. And, so I have like anywhere from, you're talking about like, X-Men, Spider-Man, Green Lantern, just like different comics, different writers. So, I think I've got like a nice variety. But, a lot of the stuff, I've always been kind of somebody had like nice imagination, like I've always been kind of like, even when I was, like I said, I was growing up, I used to have these, I created all these like kind of knockoff superheroes that I used to write like notebooks about, and I used to write little short stories about them and their adventures and stuff. So like I was always able to kind of just pull a lot of different things with my own imagination. And I think like the fact that even like, it's kind of weird, like even though like I never had anywhere to put that, I'm somebody who writes a lot of notes, and like different ideas come to me. And even though it's like it's like a 1 in a million chance of something happening, I feel like if I write it down, I just have it, so I've always been, so now that I can finally like channel all of this into like a project, I think it's really kind of become easy for me to tap into it in a weird way.
Did you take any of those characters that you created when you were younger and put them into this book, by the way? Like, did you do any of that? Or do you plan on maybe taking some of those ideas and reworking them for a future issue of the Ace? Because I would hope you're going to do an issue 2. I definitely see this as a story that needs to be continued. I mean, you kind of, I don't want to spoil it for people, but how it left off, I mean, I want more.
Yeah,
you can't
issue 2 is
like
already issue 2 is already halfway halfway in. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
What do you think?
And
No, go ahead.
yeah, no, to answer like your other question, sadly, I lost all those notebooks and everything a while ago in this fire that was in my apartment. But I do have an idea for one character that specifically was like, I mean, my main kind of top character. The other ones were pretty like bad knockoffs, but I did like him. I thought like he'd be the only one that I could actually do something for. I'm not sure exactly when it's coming. I want to make sure it's right. But there is one character that I do plan to like do something with in the future.
So who would like, is there anyone in your personal life that you probably based some of the characters on in the story or any of the situations?
Yeah, there's definitely like some, I call it almost like amalgamations of different people and different places I've lived and stuff.
Yeah.
So I put like, like David's personality and everything, his is how where he comes from, his story. It's a lot of different people that I grew up knowing, So like it's like 5 or 6 different people that I just kind of like put different little pieces together to help kind of create him. And then after he was created, then you kind of want to grow the character more. But yeah, I definitely take from my life and my experiences different little bits and put them in to the story.
And what about Angelique? What about her her idea and her design, which I love her design. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. Now, her design was by this artist, Chris Oak. Very talented guy. I think he might be putting out something next year. Crowdfunded wise, and we, like I said, I built all these kind of like relationships and different stuff with all these different artists that I've come to know and stuff, and like I really like to see his like almost like he has this painted style. And I wanted like somebody to help create the character and this vision that I had in my head of this winged female warrior. She's part, Hawk Girl, part Wonder Woman, part Psylocke. She's all these kind of different kind of badass like characters together, mixed them with a little like Goblin Queen.
Yeah, the Madeline Pryor.
Yeah, just kind of like all these different little influences together. And like I said, I just kind of talked with Chris Oak, and he just came up with this insane design for her, like her wings and everything, and they just like jumped off the page. Like I said, this is it. Like this is exactly what's been in my head.
And I'll show the trading card because let me pull her out because there's going to be a glare because I don't have a professional camera and set up here, and I don't know how to work a ring light. Okay, I am like the worst woman ever. But let's see. Yeah. So this was the character.
Yep.
Angelique.
That's by Doodle Bags.
Yeah. Doodle Bags did that one. Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna be the main antagonist in Volume 2. She's gonna be stealing the show. So.
I can see it. I think she has a great design, and I don't see, this is a thing that's hard for me because I don't know who read this and who has not read this yet. And I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but I like what you were showing about her backstory. I found that very interesting. And
yeah, I mean, look, I think we can go spoiler mode because
okay, we can.
Much, yeah, I've set most of my packages. I think I have 2 orders. I think I have 2 orders to send. So sorry, guys, if you slept on it, come back to it after you read it.
Okay. I gotta go. I have to I'm gonna go to the last page here because this is just so badass here. I mean, we get to this, years later part. And it was like she had some kind of trauma occur to her with this monster here, So that was like, I love this book because it's very sci-fi and then there's a lot of fantasy elements to it, but then it's a superhero story at the same time. So you combined all of that. You didn't really necessarily like pick one genre to me. because there's sci-fi in it. There's some fantasy elements, I feel. And like I said, it's definitely a superhero book. And
Yeah, to me, it's like, when you're creating something like this, there's no really reason to put into one lane. Like there's enough kind of, different things you can touch on to make it a lot more interesting. Like those pages by How Comics are incredible. Like he completely captured, it does have like this fantasy kind of style, which is exactly what I wanted. It's the reason why I chose him, because I knew he could do that exact style. So I like to call it like almost like a dark fairy tale. Like you get
yeah,
introduced to this little girl and her family, and then something bad happens, and then you tell the story. You could, it's basically a fairy tale. Like you could read this as like a little fairy tale, and then the last page you go boom,
yeah,
and then
pretty
you hit
much.
the sci-fi, you hit the superhero, you go, all right, I didn't see that. I didn't see that last panel coming.
I know I didn't.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny too. David, right? When he's in the armor and he goes back to his mother. Let me find the page. I thought this was hilarious here. Like, who the hell are you and what did you do with my son? Like, because I think that would be like a very natural reaction. And just like the whole idea of a robot shark, like a shark with robot legs, I freaking love that. And I love you had Donnell do this cover, and this cover is amazing. I love the quality too. It's like it's a nice matte material. It's nice, it's thick. It's not a cheaply made comic book.
No, like that
Nice.
cover is really that cover to me set the tone. It was really the first piece of artwork I had done. Speaking of which, I actually had another guy doing the cover. Things didn't work out for him, and like I said,
Yeah.
through my relationship with Donald, I just reached out and asked him if he would do it, and he said yeah. So like I said, all these things kind of come together to not just make the book good, but make it better. Like he even hooked me up with his own colorist, Theo. I found him through Donald
That's
after doing
freaking
the cover.
awesome. So you
Yeah.
made great connections. And you know what else I love about this too? Because you can look at this way, right? But then let me see, you can turn it this way. It still looks good. I could turn it this way. It still looks good. No matter way you put this cover, it looks great. Like from different perspectives and angles, which that's really appealing to me because some covers you look at and it's only a picture one way. It still translate the action scene really well.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your writing process like? Like what was the first thing that you did? Did you develop the world first? Did you break down all the characters first? How did you know like what kind of characters you wanted to have in this?
Yeah. First, I started with the ace. Like, who is he? What is he? Like, like who's wearing the armor? Like, first it's just about getting those characters. Setting up the setting. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted him to be like a kid out of college who's trying to discover like who his world doesn't have superheroes or superpowers or aliens that he knows of. He lives
Mm-hmm.
in a very normal world. So this fantastic thing happens to him, and then this whole other side of the universe opens up for him. So that's basically like the idea. Like I came up with all of that, and then it's about kind of like, all right, write out the first issue. Like I just wrote out like an outline from A to Z. Like, all right, opens here, David happens in the blah 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 to the end. And once I did that, then it's about putting it in on like a script format for an artist. So it's like now you have to break it down by panels, you have to break down the dialogue, you have to break down, and it's just about going over it and over it and over again. I mean, I would just like change a little bits of dialogue. All right, this scene, no, take this panel away from this page, add this panel, and it just becomes like I spent a good like 6-8 months on it
Oh
just before
wow.
I even like just getting it where I could feel, all right, this is good. I have enough here where I can take it to an artist and he can look at it, he can make sense of it. And like, I started breaking out the page numbers, all of that stuff. And, I had a lot of help from a lot of different people who were kind of helping me out. Like I said, all the hardline guys are great for advice and feedback and stuff. And then, once I got into uh, Canales' hands, then I just kind of let him loose. Like, he's the one who came up with the robot legs for Akula.
Yeah, I love
Originally, he was
that.
he just had like shark humanoid legs, but he gave him the robotic ones, which gave him another completely different spin from what I had in my head. So I changed a lot of the dialogue and stuff to kind of feed more into that.
I love that you gave that he got the robot legs. I thought that worked so well. It looks awesome. Like,
yeah, I can't imagine him without him now.
Look at that. I can't imagine it without it either. I feel like it makes him too, like, for the fight scenes, like a more skilled opponent. I mean, because who wants to fight a freaking shark to begin with, or who wants to fight a shark with freaking robot legs? Like...
Yeah, the visual really is like, you just kind of go, wow, all right, I didn't see that coming.
No, I definitely didn't, because on the cover, I couldn't tell at first, So when I started reading the book and I'm like, oh my God, he has freaking robot legs. This is awesome. I mean, I was sold right away just by the cover. I think that your characters have amazing designs. So here's my other question. Who gave you the best advice when it came to making this comic book, since you got advice from a lot of people? I know I'm putting you on the spot and making you choose. Or what was some of the best advice that you received?
I mean, I got good advice, from different parts, but the best advice was really, the advice to that there was something here. Like I said, that's when I talked to my buddy Passion. He's the first person I pitched the idea to, and we kind of threw back and forth ideas, and he liked it. He said, oh, there's something here, that was really the push that I needed, because, I'm not going to do something just to do it. Like, this is a lot of people just kind of came up with books, and, people got to do what they got to do. But to me, it was just like, if I'm going to do something, it has to be right. I'm not just going to put this out to put it out. If I'm going to do this, the book has to be finished. Before I launched, I completed everything on the book except the print file. All the art was completely done. All the letters are done. All the colors are done before I launched.
Before you launched?
Yep.
That's
because
amazing.
I want to do it right.
Yeah.
Like there's no other way around it for me. That's kind of how I'm wired. This is my dream since I was, 9, 10 years old to be a comic book creator. So if this is my one shot and I never do anything else, I'm going to make sure that I put everything I have into this, make it as good as I possibly can. And that's why I hired the guys I did. All the different artists to tell the different stories to create this world. Like I put everything that the young me, if he would have been like, oh, the older me created a comic book. If I could go back in time and just be like, here, take this, he would love it. I know that if he just saw the cover alone, he would freak out. He wouldn't even need to do anything else. I would just have to show him the cover. He'd be like, oh, what's this? So that's what I wanted. I made the book for little like 11, 12-year-old me. So
I love that. I love that so much. That makes me so happy. All right. Before I get to like asking you more questions and open up for anyone else with questions, let's go and take a look at the campaign, and then I'll show off the Etsy store that you have your shirts on.
Yeah. Let me just before we do that, let me just hail the chat. Hail the guys. I see everybody.
Go ahead. Absolutely.
Yes. Mark Middleton, hail brother. Passion, hail Ryan Wynn, hail Rex Doom, hail Gingerton, hail. See who else was here. Infinity Comics, hail. Ara Jelanian, hail. Yeah, thanks, guys.
I know. I'm appreciative to everyone that shows up here every week. They know that when I go into interview mode, though, I don't stop until the questions pop up on the side. And I'm trying to be more mindful to everyone because I'm so appreciative to everyone. But I don't mind if you do it. So you're my guest, basically. I'm hosting you. So in a way, it's my show, but it's your show or whoever's on here as well, too. So let me share this screen and we're going to go look at the campaign. Anyone that wants to back a second time, or someone that should back this that has not backed this, or if you have not backed and I'm spoiling the book for you, I'm sorry that you're lost, but back the damn book. It's great. It's really good. I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to make sure that I share audio because every week I forget to share audio at some point. All right, let's go. I think I'm screen sharing. Hold on one second. I have to stop my camera because it's raining outside and I don't want to lose anything. All right. So I'm going to play the trailer first. I freaking love that trailer. It gets me pumped every time I look at it. Let me go back here.
Red Gaze did a great job with that.
Oh, I was going to ask who did it. So I got my answer. There we go. I have a question for you, too. Hans asked, and he may have missed some of this, so forgive him if he has. He wanted to know the shark with robot legs. He said it feels very video game, fighting game from the 90s, which I love. What was the inspiration? Sorry if this is already explained. I just got here. So, and you're going to have a bunch more of these shark creatures too. I think that's important too.
Yes.
Say so.
But yeah, like the inspiration was Canales, really. He's the one who worked up the new design. Like I said, I'm one of those people, like, I like to let my artists kind of, like, once I give them the playbook, I just tell them to go. So, he gave me this design and it just kind of captured me. Like, once I saw it on the page, I was like, this is completely, like, just takes it up another level, so I was like, all right, go for it. And Canales is a big, like, sci-fi fan and stuff. He loves aliens, all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah,
that's right in his wheelhouse. So
I like too that there was something I noticed about the art in the book. Okay, so the main story here, the art was, feel like it was like more cartoony in a way. Then the art here in this epilogue part, it looks more painted, more serious tone to it. I don't know if this is something that was done intentionally or, I love this about that. And then this here, the Angelique origin story here, This artwork is very fantasy, and it almost reminded me of why can't I think of it right now? It's an it's an elf comic that Elf Quest, almost, in a way, in a good way. Um, so I don't know if that was that done intentionally or
Yeah, like each story, while it all fits the same narrative, I wanted each story to be different, like specific things about specifically like the epilogue story. That's kind of like a big mystery piece. That's why there's not too much dialogue on there. You
yeah.
just kind of, you're watching, you don't really know everything that's going on there, as opposed to like the main story. The Ace is a lot more linear, you know and then you have like the short story, which just kind of like gives you like a little teaser for what's to come. Like everything about that, the reason why I had different artists do it and all of that, was all on purpose, really.
Yeah, every part that I read, I was like, why? I'm like, but no, I need more. I need more. Like, don't do this to me. I feel like almost everything, even though it's complete in its own way, it's almost like a cliffhanger. I'm like, why? I want more. These weren't enough pages for me. It was really enjoyable too. And I feel that like, what would you say the age range is for this comic book?
Uh,
What would you
probably
say?
like, probably like 9 and up, about
That's
8 or 9
so
and up.
that's what I was going to say. I feel like this is like it's something adults can read, teenagers can read, and children could read and get into. Like definitely, it's definitely more of like an all ages book. I mean, as long as a parent doesn't mind like violent fight scenes. I mean,
Yeah,
a
and
little
even
blood.
like, the blood and stuff, there's nothing too like
Yeah, it's nothing.
gratuitous or like,
Yeah, it's not
nothing like,
gory.
especially
So,
when you're watching like, blood, drawn by Hal in that kind of like fantasy style. It
oh
takes a
yeah.
lot of the edge off it as compared to like if somebody else was drawing all that blood, it could really look like, oh, you know.
I mean, most of the kids nowadays, they watch a lot of manga and there's a lot of like fights and blood. I mean, if you watch DBZ, someone's bleeding in almost every episode in a fight. So, I mean, so I think like even if you personally have gotten this for yourself, if there's someone else that in your life or there's a kid you want to get into comics, this is a great start. So if you've already backed it, back it again, get a copy for someone else is what I'm trying to get at. Because I definitely would consider this an all ages book in a really good way. So here's the beautiful Donnell cover. I mean, he did such a great job on this cover. Phenomenal. All right. You want to go over your team here?
Yeah, so obviously I'm the writer creator. I have Canales, who's the main story artist. Have Theo Gonzalez, who's doing the colors, and I have Adam AF, who's doing all the letters on the book. The second story, which is the epilogue, is drawn and colored by Sweens from Oddity. Like I said, it's a very cool little mystery piece. I compare a lot to Lost. As far as that, it kind of is gonna give you hints at stuff that's gonna play out in future issues that you'll go back and you'll go, oh, he set all that up before. And then you have the last one is drawn and colored by How Comics, who's done the Masquerade for Lost Pages.
I was wondering that.
Yep.
Okay. So no matter what you choose to back right now, which no one backed the sketch card, really? From Victor King? Someone backed that.
Yep, that's actually the last sketch card. We've sold out of every other sketch card we had up there. So thank you guys for.
Yeah, I mean you did really well with this campaign.
Yeah.
So the featured
And
perk. You
yep,
have your
it's
print of
the book
comic.
with the Mike McMahon print, which is really beautifully colored by Simon Simpotier. So
Yeah, the comic itself is $15. Shipping was not bad either. Oh, you have the deal for the 2 copies, 2 prints.
yep. And I should add, since all the stretch codes were unlocked
Yeah,
You know, when you
yeah.
get it, you get the Angelique trading card. You get the 4 6 a.m. stickers, and you get 2 additional prints. One by Jim O'Reilly. It's a kaiju print, and then another one is by PM Antoon, who does a nice kind of like black and white uh, Angelique piece. So you get all that on top of back in the book.
Oh yeah, and I'll show that off definitely because I have everything here in my hand right now, literally. So once I flip back my camera, and you still have original art available from this book.
That's right. From Canales himself, there's not a lot of traditional art that's available on campaign, so it's a really good deal.
And it's a
If
good
you're a fan
price.
of Canales, they got some cool stuff on there. First come, first serve. So if you back it, you'll get second shot at at the pages I have. I'll send you everything I have, and you can get to choose which one you'd like.
And the price too. It's under $200 for original art, guys. That's like unheard of in a campaign. That is a really good price. So we're looking at some of your interior pages now. I'm going to scroll back up just so people can see. This is from the main story here.
Yeah, what I love about Canales' style, especially when you see it colored like that, it's like you don't really need a lot of dialogue. You can follow everything that's going on in the page.
Mm-hmm.
You can put it together, which I think that's the mark of like a good artist. Can you tell a story without the dialogue? And you can still figure out what's going on.
That's very important. I'm so glad that you stated that because that's one thing that I like to look at with art. I'm also big on like how people draw eyes because eyes can tell a lot about what's going on in a situation here. You know,
Yeah,
this
like right
here
there, you
with the
see the
mom.
yeah, you
Yeah.
see him like running past her where she's got the worried look on her face.
Yeah. And
Stuff like that.
this here too, you can tell she's like, who the F is like, who are you? Like, what the hell are you doing in my house? I don't know what book she's holding, but she looks like she's going to beat the shit out of him with a book. So, and I love this too because you can tell like he's in shock. Oh, it's a monster hunting. I didn't even catch that when I read that until I can see it here. It says monster hunter, something. The book that she has.
Yeah.
That's freaking crazy. How didn't I catch that reading? And I'm like an eagle eye person.
Yeah, Canales loves to put those little Easter eggs. So a lot of pages have something fun in the back.
You ever played a Telltale game before? Like,
No.
so PlayStation, well, I think they had them for Xbox too and on Steam, but there was this series of games. They were called Telltale games. Like they did one for The Walking Dead. They did one for Game of Thrones. That's what his art style reminds me of. They did one for even Fables. You'd have to like Google a picture. I mean it in a very good way because the Telltale games were kind of like you played a game and it looked like a comic book, but it was a game.
That's
Not
cool.
like Borderlands, but it was like its own thing. Because Borderlands kind of has that comic-y feel to it too.
Yeah.
And then this here, sorry, I just scrolled way too fast here. I'm moving down. I want everyone to see this.
Yeah, and just
Even
like
if you have read it, you are forced to see it again on my stream. I'm sorry, guys.
And then, like I said, I said I couldn't be happier to see like Canales in color.
Yeah.
Him and Theo, like they just blended perfectly together. Like he just hit everything that Canales was doing and brought it to life. And Canales really stood out on this. And then that's pages by Sweens.
For the epilogue.
Yeah, Sweens is just
gorgeous.
He's a madman. I don't know how he does it, but he has this amazing ability to not just draw but also color his own stuff in a way that's like I love that little hologram thing he did.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's all him, it's like just incredible art on those pages, man. Like he really this is nothing like resembling Oddity. Like it just shows his range.
I didn't even realize it was the same person that did Oddity. I'm familiar with the
No,
name, but I never would have
no.
thought by looking at the art style that it was the same person at all.
Yeah, like the colors and everything is just completely different. It just fit this story.
It looks painted almost. It's gorgeous.
Yes, as soon as it's I love you see like that dripping, almost like the oil on fire. All just little touches he did were incredible,
Yeah,
man.
right here.
Yeah, I remember when he sent me those pages, man. I would just stare at those like these are so good.
Gingerton said he loves the ship. Like the ship designs.
Oh yeah.
And then Hans just said the art of this reminds him of Marvel Ultimates, which is what brought him back into comics in his early 20s.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's gorgeous. I love all of this here too. I don't even know if anyone can see my mouse. I'm pointing. And then these pages are so fantasy, so beautiful. I love this.
Yeah, it's just, what can you say about that?
No, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's like it's great working with all these guys, and happy to work with them for volume 2.
When can we expect that?
I'm shooting for early next year. Like I said, I want to have the whole thing done again. So, but like I said, the art is halfway done. So,
Yep, you're waiting until everything is complete to get everything.
And also, I need a break from. It's been a while. It's been a while, like almost 2 years of this campaign. So I need to just recharge and then,
Are you considering adding on like an additional book with everything? Like you're going to do a main book and then possibly do like a side book for your next campaign as well, like an ash can?
Maybe. I'm currently working on some things that I can't really talk about. So it just kind of depends where.
I'm hoping that's a yes.
I'm hoping like I said, yes. I'm always listening to the feedback from fans. So if they want,
my feedback is
make it happen.
If you can add on an ash can for something for the next campaign, that's my feedback. I want more of this universe. And are you going to, one thing. So when you went to create this universe for the Ace, essentially you had to create kind of 3 different universes. What was that process like for you?
Actually, it was pretty easy once I got going.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've always had like an imagination, and once kind of something hits, like it just keeps the wheel spinning. So I just start writing and putting down ideas, and there's stuff for future stuff I haven't even gotten into for all these characters. Like they're, like once the floodgates open, like I just go. So yeah, I love those stickers, man. That's one of my favorite things of the whole campaign of the 6 a.m. stickers, man.
I love them too. I don't even want to stick them on anything. Like Ed wanted to take them all and stick them all over his laptops. He has like a fascination with them because he's a tattoo artist and an artist himself, and he is obsessed with stickers. So whenever he sees like campaigns with stickers, he always wants to help himself. And I was like, no, you cannot have these.
That's what I do. I put them on laptops and stuff, and like I just stick them everywhere.
If anything, I want to like find a way to frame them or display them in a way like in a frame, because people will see them because I'll pull them up when I go back on camera in a second. And I loved this poster here. This is great.
Yeah, it's by Jim O'Reilly. Just completely just blew me away with that. And then at the bottom was by PM Tunes. He's got like a little bit of an anime style to him. Which,
definitely. And I love that. It's very sexy. And I think you overcame like any risk or challenge. I mean,
Yeah,
or
thankfully, we're able to get everything, get it on time. Like I said, everything except 2 packages are shipped out. So, I had over 202 backers, so I've sent out 200 packages.
one thing that I loved too is that you included the fan art in the back of the book, and I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that was something that was kind of I've seen other campaigns do, and I just, like I said, I'm seeing like what Eric Ninotowski did, Hacks Island. Those guys did very cool pieces. I wanted to like, show them off to people. So yeah, this was another thing that's very cool and just kind of happened, by chance, really.
So guys, no matter what perk you back right now, you're going to end up with everything. And I'm going to show you guys everything before I go into the Etsy shop where the t-shirts are at. So give me 1 second. Let me switch over here and turn my camera on. All right. So, I don't know where I put that other poster. It must be, I'm not going to get up because it was shown. Okay. So let me back up away from the glare. So this poster here, which is my favorite. The stickers, which are freaking awesome. Turn it this way so you guys can see. I love these stickers. The sexy Angelique poster that's like manga style here. And the trading card, which I showed earlier, but I'm going to pull back up. So let me take it out of its holder. Really, my camera does not do justice for how good this looks. Does anyone have any questions before I move in to show off his shirts on Etsy? Gonna give you guys a second. I know my cat is in here and is being destructive. Oh, you have no clue. The last stream that I was on with everyone at Death Curse, my cat jumped on these. I have these like metal grids, and this is the one that broke it too. And he's like 36 pounds. This is my fat cat. And everything broke down. Like I had all my comics on a rack and prints, a bunch of stuff, and it broke down like 3 tiers. It crashed in the middle of the stream. Okay, so Ginge has a question for you. What part of the character or environment designs did you enjoy the most besides the main character?
That's tough. I mean, to me, like the way kind of Akula grew from like my initial idea to kind of what he became and what he'll become was so much fun. Just coming up with his backstory, coming up with his origin or his personality, like where his story kind of goes, in the future volumes, all of that stuff it was so much fun because, people really took to him. Like, like I thought he was cool design, but like every time I would post art, people would like flip out. They'd be like, "Who's the shark guy?" Like
Yeah.
people just start berating me, like just like, "Oh, you got this with the shark guy?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I got this with the shark guy then." So like that whole thing has been like so much fun. Like the cover is like, like to be able to say like I can put that cover against any other comic book that anybody else is putting out, and it stands up to them. That's pretty cool.
I was one of those people.
Yeah. So,
What's the deal with the shark guy? I'm already sold. I was like, I'm sold. There's a shark guy in this. I'm gonna back it. I also got a question from King Toad Comics, the Mothman. They're asking who did the trading card again. They cannot remember.
Yes, the trading card was drawn by Doodle Bags, colored by Passion for Drawing.
So drawn by Doodle Bags and colored by Passion for Drawing. Yeah, and the cover was done by Donnell.
Yep, Donald, colored by his colorist, Theo Gonzalez, who
Wow.
also colored Brutus.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to distract my cat away from my broken down grids that I threw everything on. All right, I'm going to go over to the Etsy shop real quick. Let me stop the camera to do this. And why am I not sharing? Okay, here we go. There's no audio to share, so I don't have to worry about that right now. One less problem. So this Etsy shop is Zaid Workshop.
Yep. Anybody who knows the Hardline stream that we do every Monday
At 10 o'clock.
Yeah, on the Zaid Comics channel. We're all friends. We're all kind of work together. So we all decided to kind of put a lot of our merch and stuff in one place where everybody could kind of get them. And we got some really sick shirts and some cool designs. So we kind of rotate them in and out every like 6 months or so. So that's another thing. We just if they're only going to be around for so long, and then we'll get them out of there. So it makes for like cool. You can just kind of keep doing some cool new stuff on there.
So these are not available at your campaign, correct?
Nope. Only place to get those two Ace shirts are through the Zaid Workshop's Etsy store.
Oh, you know what? When I clicked on this to make it larger, give me 1 second. I have to share a screen again. So that's interesting. I might as well pull up both tabs on. Give me 1 second. I'm going to stop the screen, share the other screen. See, there's not a stream where something doesn't go wrong for me. Right when I think I figured every single thing out. All right. Here is the Ace logo t-shirt I want to share. Okay, and this one was done by Brandon Diaz.
Yep.
They're $20. Do you know what the shipping is for these about?
Off the top of my head, I don't. So that's a couple extra bucks, though. It's not too bad.
So here is the Ace logo t-shirt here, done by Brandon. And then I'm going to go to the other shirt now and show that one. Because you can't get these on the campaign. And if you want one, you're going to have to go over to this Etsy shop, guys. Or girls. Whoever's in here tonight. So the Ace title logo shirt. This one's $25.
Yeah, that one's based off the logo of the book that How Comics did.
Yeah, there you go. This one's $25. Both of these t-shirts are in stock. So if you want to support Edwin in a different way, you've already backed the book, you don't have a copy you want to grab for someone else, you can get a t-shirt. And there are 2 to choose from, and there will probably be more up in the future. And then you have a YouTube channel.
Yep. It's been a little bit of a hiatus as, work has been crazy. And then, I'm finishing up the campaign plus working on the second campaign. So I took a little break from streams, but I should be back in September streaming again. I do what I call a pin stream. You usually do it Friday nights. 10 p.m. Eastern, and we just kind of do a little roundtable with some creators, talk about their projects. And then I do a movie watch along stream on Sundays at 10, where me and some of the hardline guys hang out and give us our thoughts on whatever movie we kind of feel like watching that day.
Did you end up watching Velocipaster? I mean, the last stream that I got.
That might be the next one up if everybody can find a copy. We might just might have to have some alcohol for that one.
I've seen it. It's worth watching. It's like one of those movies that's so bad it's good.
That's good.
So, all right. So this is your YouTube channel here. This is my school account, but I'm going to sub here. So I've subbed twice on my personal account, my school account.
That's what I tell everybody, create an alt and sub again. Trust me, I have like 6 YouTube alt accounts that I sub to everybody, try to help them out. So,
bring some over here.
I got I'm the one who put you guys over.
Oh, you're the best. I appreciate you. All right, so you're at 197 subscribers. Let's get you to 200 tonight at least. So
get that inspiration to get back to it.
And
it's a lot of work. People don't know. Like, you're trying to run a stream. Like, you gotta. Sometimes things don't go right. The internet's off. It can be a little bit of a nightmare trying to run streams. So not as easy as it looks.
Have you seen me during every interview? Something goes wrong.
Trust me. Like, just the stuff of like the fact that StreamYard doesn't automatically link the audio, so you have to click the box. It's maddening.
Every week, either Spencer or Ryan will be like, Kayla, do not forget to share audio. And I'll be like, I know. And then at one point I'll go to share like audio. And I'll think I clicked it because I shared audio for one thing and I forget to do it for the next thing.
Drives you nuts, man. Like, come on. Get it together, StreamYard.
I know they should make it like a bigger button so people like me won't forget to click the little box. All right. What do you want to share about working with everybody on this project that you worked with?
I mean, I cannot have higher regard or anybody who's looking to work with some of these artists. I highly recommend each and every one of them. I've had nothing but a great pleasure, and each guy I've worked with has helped make the book better. Like from what I thought the book would look like once everything was done to like what it actually was when I got the first print in my hand. It blew me away. I was like, this looks like any comic that you would see on the stand. You said the quality of the cover is sick, is beautiful.
The quality look nice,
the colors pop. Yeah, so like I said, that wasn't just me. And I've had a lot of help out of people behind the scenes going over everything, making sure the prints were correct, making sure, I mean, my God, the nightmare I had trying to print these freaking trading cards.
Oh, you know what? You should share some of that. Share some of that with us, because I don't think people realize.
Maddening. Just like, I kept having to revise it, and then they have weird like specs. I mean, it's just like, aside from putting together the full print file, I think the trading cards took the longest thing to do. It was a nightmare. And that's the thing about campaigns. Like, you don't, until you've been through it, like, you just don't know how many headaches you're gonna encounter. So that's why I encourage everybody to do as much of the book beforehand as possible, and to give yourself plenty of time for shipping, because there's all sorts of, I mean, I've been sitting down trying to write international shipping addresses has been an adventure. Writing down, you're going to send a book to Switzerland, and this just looks like gibberish when they're giving you the address, and you're looking at this like, all right, I guess this makes sense somehow, you know.
Then there's the postal code. Oh yeah.
Shipping, make sure you charge for shipping, because if you don't, it's gonna take a piece of you. It's not cheap at all. So international shipping is brutal. To send packages, I'm sending stuff for like 26, $28
That's
just to
cheap.
send.
That, believe it or not, that's cheap in comparison. I mean, I work at UPS. Our international shipping rates for even non-documents, woo, you don't want to know.
I mean,
You don't want to know.
most of the charges I charged 15 to 20. So
Yeah.
every time I sent international, I was taking a loss. Thankfully, the US shipping kind of evened it out.
Yeah.
But even then, like, and from what I hear, it's only gonna go up. So make sure you get that shipping correct as much as you can. And just talk to people. There's a lot of people willing to help, get advice and stuff, and just give yourself time. There's no reason to rush something out, I'm glad I took as much time as I did doing everything. It made it a lot easier. And it was still like a lot of hard work and but it saved me a lot of headaches if I wouldn't have gotten everything I did done when I did.
I was going to ask you, what advice would you give to anyone that's wanting to do this? And I think you kind of nailed that. Like, you nailed that without me even having to ask. So before we close out and I ask you where everyone can find you on Twitter if they're not following you, obviously here, guys, you can see the Drawing Aces channel. So please sub. Let's get him to 200 tonight. I'd like to see that happen. And I just want to say, is there anything that you want to add about these characters and this story that we have not spoken about this evening?
I'll just say for like volume 2, it's gonna be a fun ride. I don't know what people expect. That's something I kind of want to talk to people about. So I'll ask you, like, where do you think the next issue goes?
Where do I think the next issue goes?
Like from everything you read and like where it ends, like where do you see it going?
Where do I see it going? I see at some point all three of these different forces or characters, they're all going to have to meet. Okay? Something is going to put them in a position where they're going to have to meet. That's what I feel. And there's going to have to be something there, how can I put this with not like, so obviously something is going to have to go wrong or something is going to work in someone's favor, in the end, pretty much. But they're all going to have to meet unless you're choosing to do these 3 different storylines until they have a meeting point. That's, it's either or. So, I mean, that's my opinion. Coming from like my background of reading a lot of books and comic books. So I know there has to be some kind of meeting that happens between these characters. When you choose to do that, I'm not sure. So we'll see. I mean, people could team up. People might fight at first and then have to team up against a bigger, badder evil, So we'll see. I mean, because all of these characters are so interesting. Even the characters that you have set up for villain, I mean, it leaves me wanting to know why this person was in this situation. And, there's always a saying, like, there's always light in darkness and there's always darkness in light. So who knows? I mean, I grew up reading Wolverine, and Wolverine first came out as a bad guy. He was supposed to destroy the Incredible Hulk, but then he ended up teaming up with the Hulk to fight the Wendigo. So there's a lot of different things that you could do. I mean, the next book could possibly even be you continuing these 3 stories, and then the third book you have everyone meet up. I mean, I don't know what you're going to do. I'm excited to see what you're going to do. I'm curious. I know that I'm going to expect great artwork. I'm going to expect something that's really well written, and I'm going to expect a lot of action. I like how you're building up all of these characters. So I feel like this book here was like an appetizer, you know? I feel like you're setting up like a 4-course meal, and I just got my appetizer and I want more. So
Yeah, definitely the next one definitely amps things up more. You know, so it's got more main story pages on it, you know, kind of.
so
Go ahead.
this book had how many pages again?
I'm 28
trying to
pages
count.
of story, and then the 4 were the fan art. The next one's going to be 32 pages of story, and the main story is going to be a full 24 pages.
Okay.
So it's gonna feel and read kind of, because the first one only had 17, you know. So just imagine, like, get more pages to kind of, like, there's more room to breathe and there's more room to kind of put stuff in there. So we're taking out the fan art for the second issue, and then we're just trying to give as much story as we can.
And then I just had a question pop up, not to cut you out, but King Toe Comics, the Mothman, said maybe get a bit more info where the power source came from, or maybe another big baddie comes to claim the Ace's power source. That's their prediction. I mean, hey, that could possibly, definitely.
Let's just say that,
yeah,
you know, like I said, I wasn't kidding when I said, you know, this is going to be the most sought after object in the universe. So there's definitely going to be more baddies showing up. But yeah, the origins, that's going to take a minute. We're gonna play with that, you know. There's no reason to kind of give that away, you know. But we'll kind of start laying out things little by little, you know.
All right. Where can everybody find you on Twitter if they're not following you?
Yep, you can find me on Twitter at Edwin Aces. Yeah, go give me a follow. I post updates, art, anything related to what's going on with the Ace. It'll be there.
And sub to your YouTube channel so you can get back to doing some videos. You're also on, what was it, Hardline on Mondays at 10, and then Sunday, was it? Are you with Hardline, the Hardline guys again too?
Oh no, that's my regular.
Oh, that's your regular channel. It's on Sundays
and Fridays. Yep.
And Fridays, what time do you stream those
10,
at?
10
Eastern time.
Yep.
All right. If you haven't backed this book, back this book. I hope I didn't spoil too much of it. We tried not to spoil too much of it. You really should be backing this. It's phenomenal. If you've already backed, you could support Edwin by getting a t-shirt on Etsy. So, and apparently Spencer has something he is showing. So he's saying, hold on a second. So I guess we're going to bring Spencer back in before we close out. I'm just waiting. I'm going to stop my cam.
I'm taking over. Yeah, great interview. Exactly. I didn't realize they were done, but yeah, I'm gonna share a page really quick. We'll just pull this up here. I was fucking with them. What's up, guys? Sorry.
And I'm like, what the hell? He just pulled us off. You know what? I love how he just took over my show.
Yeah.
All right. I can't even say anything because I'm a part of Death Curse. So
it's kind of hard to see here real quick, but I will zoom in and go through the panels. This is page 1 of our upcoming slasher book after City of Rot is all fulfilled. You guys will be seeing more from this. This is the infamous return to Camp Rainbow you guys have been hearing about for a really, really long time. And we're getting into it very soon. We showed this page off earlier this week over on our Patreon, which you can subscribe to for $1 a month. Get in on our podcast. This kind of stuff, which is ramping up, will be also releasing Hellseekers over there as we backlog pages.
And who is the wonderful artist that did that Camp Rainbow drawing, Spencer?
Obviously, it's our resident hot boy, Jeff
Okay.
Elkins. I'm gonna just because the Patreon dudes are so rad and they pay and support us, help us do all this cool shit. I'm gonna share a second page tonight that they also haven't seen, and then I'll post it on the Patreon after. I'm just gonna pull it up really quick. Yeah, we'll share a juicy one now.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Make sure it's nice and big on there. Yeah, nice little kill page early on in the book. If this overlay will go away. Google is just the worst for sharing this shit. I don't have it up on the Dropbox yet, but it'll be switched over there soon. It's starting to get colored. Probably later this week. City of Rot is going really well. It's been handed off to Nick. We were actually talking all day today, back and forth. I'm gonna be getting the colors done with him on that for the newsprint edition. The premium edition that anyone backed will still be black and white. Will still be all of Jeff's awesome line art. We didn't really want to sacrifice that because we did initially want it to be just a black and white book. We had a ton of people asking about color, so we sort of compromised and decided we'll make the mass market version of it, the newsprint edition we already had planned. We'll make that one the color one. It's still going to be more old school flats, like the stuff that me and Jeff grew up reading and loving in the 80s and 90s. So it's not going to be too over the top and extreme with the colors, but it will be serviceable and super cool and just like another edition of the book altogether. It's still coming. The printing was just a huge fiasco with Alterna basically switching printers at the end. They were initially who we were running our newsprint versions through. Now it's sort of between these two companies, but we're not rushing into a decision while we're finishing up the colors. But premium editions will be going to print very soon now that all the copyright stuff is handled and squared away. Premium editions will be going to print soon. Those will be coming. Those are basically the trade paperback edition. Those will come in. Those will be really fancy. I'll be able to show those off on stream. And then anyone that just got that, I guess, I can start fulfilling those. But that's, I think, very few people, if any. Otherwise, it'll just have to wait until everything else comes in. Move is pretty much squared away now, so I'll be starting printing shirts soon for anybody that got shirts. And then it's basically waiting around on things to arrive and doing the 5x7 sketches for anybody that got those from me or Jeff. Why can't I find Edwin's channel? That link should be a direct link to his channel.
His channel is Drawing Aces.
But yes, it's all coming along nicely. While we're also working ahead on other stuff and not letting things grind to a halt.
I'll be signing Darcy posters this
City
weekend.
of Rot stuff is at a standstill. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Kayla's actively coming down this weekend right after she wraps a con. We'll probably do, maybe not stream the whole thing because it's a ton of posters and stuff, but maybe we'll stream while you're signing them and everything for the couple of people that grabbed them. And then there's still going to be posters up on the campaign page. They were part of like a special tier, but some people have been asking if they can just buy the poster straight up. So maybe we'll make the signed posters an add-on for these last couple of weeks while we're in printer limbo. If that's something you guys are into, let me know and we can get that squared away this weekend too. And yeah, we'll be streaming with Kayla. We'll be hanging out. But yeah, for now, go back the Ace. Go check out our Patreon, patreon.com/deathcurse. The Ace is the link is in the description of this video. If you haven't already checked it out, I just dropped Edwin's YouTube channel link directly in the chat. And yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. As always, thank you for watching. And
Thank
Edwin,
you for watching, and thanks
for
to
being here.
Edwin for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Hail the chat.
Hell yeah, hail chat. We'll
Hail
see you dudes
chat.
later.
Hail Edwin.
Peace.
Back